Awesome.
That's cool too. 3, 2, 1. Oh Lord. Quiet on set. 3, 2.
This is the moment when I realized when I fell in love with music.
What's up, everybody? I'm Steve Jones Jr. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of This Is the Moment podcast. If I'm smiling and you like, why is he so happy? I got family on this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. My man, my brother, Otto Gross. What up, bro?
Bro, I'm super excited, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's just incredible what you do. I love all of it. The whole thing is the business. And like you said, family. It's just good to
Yes,
be back with family again, man.
Listen,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about a lot in these next 30 minutes, but I want to get to the music side real quick. We'll
Okay.
start off with this question for you. What was the album that changed your life? The first album that you was like, all right, this is it. Music is where I'm supposed to be.
That's a great question. If I'm honest, I don't know if it was just one album. Because I feel like that's a great question. I grew up in a musical family.
Yeah.
Like all my cousins played, my aunts and uncles. You know, my dad was a pastor, preacher. So I feel like there was like a lot of different types of music going through my ears. That we had church and gospel in one sense, but then I went to like a Catholic school, so I had that going. Then I had a bunch of friends that were listening to all types of stuff, and then my uncle's like a jazz musician. So I don't know if it was one album. I'm looking behind you, and I'm thinking Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder. Like I don't know if it was one, to be honest.
Or what a few albums that you was just like, yo, these are my favorite. No skips. I'm not skipping nothing. If I'm playing this album, it's like we're going straight through.
We going through it. Well, songs in the key of life. That's one for sure.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder's the GOAT. There is, let's see. I would say songs in the key of life. Man, you have Michael Jackson up there. I mean, everything on Thriller, like that whole record. Quincy Jones is a monster.
Yeah.
Probably in terms of artists, I would say like a lot of the mass choirs. So again, this is going back to like old gospel or whatever, but like Chicago Mass, Fred Hammond, like a lot of his records.
Yeah.
I could probably go through a 10. I'll tell you what, after the episode is done, maybe I'll just send you a list and then you can like print it somewhere. But like those would be a couple. Couple. Yeah.
Listen, man, 2 years ago, first time in history where everybody had to go home. I think the shutdown hit March 15th, 2020. No matter how much money you made, no matter how many Grammys you have, you got to sit in the house. Yeah. What were you doing before the pandemic started?
Yeah, before I was, and it was still the same during the pandemic, but right before I was the creative director for this music education company that basically we created these really cool like digital online resources for kids. So I was writing a whole lot of music. I was producing a whole lot of music. That was part of my job. The other part was I was a personality for the company. So I would be traveling around the country and giving these workshops to like music teachers and giving, like these assemblies for kids, being this character. The character's name was Otto. And basically I had this little costume on, like my red shirt, little hat, and I had my little melodica. And that's what I was doing full time. Like I was going to conferences and doing workshops on stuff like body percussion or improv. And being a creative director. So just producing a lot of music, writing a lot of music, that's what it was. And a lot of travel.
So when the pandemic hit, was it like I can go to sleep? Like for me, I was like, yo, I can go to sleep. Like the first week, I was like, okay, these 2 weeks, I can go to bed. But
I hear you. I mean, it was similar. I think the difference for me is like I had spent so much time pre-pandemic. I spent so much time on the road because of Quaver. I was traveling all the time. As you can see, like this at my house, I got like all the toys here. I have, a Hammond B3 organ. I got my keyboards, my drums. So it wasn't so much like I can go to sleep. It was more like I can stay home and play all day because I didn't get to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was doing it. I was producing and stuff, but that was for the company. I wasn't able to do that at home. Yeah. So the fact that like, pandemic happened and then it was like y'all have to work from home. Mm-hmm. So I got my laptop and I'm doing my job or whatever. And then I'm like, my drums are there. My keys are here, So that's really when I started doing the social media thing is because I had an opportunity to because of pandemic. It's funny because like, unfortunately, the pandemic was like, brutal. It was horrible for a lot of reasons, right? Yeah. On the flip side, for a lot of reasons, it was for me, some parts of it was like the greatest thing that could have ever happened because I had to look at life in a different way and I was able to do these new things that I wasn't able to do before, So I'm grateful for it. And I'm not grateful for the crazy stuff that happened, right. But I am grateful for like the good stuff that came from it,
What's one of the biggest lessons that the pandemic taught you?
I feel like number one is just to love people, honestly. And I know that's cheesy, but it's the truth, man. I mean, a lot of people we lost, and I don't know. It made me think of like tomorrow's not promised. Know, that's one big lesson, and I think the second one is not to be afraid to put yourself out there.
Wow. Yeah.
Like I said, when the pandemic started, that's when I started doing the social media thing. Like I started that whole Otto Daily Diddy, all that stuff. And before then, Steve, when I tell you like I was afraid to post something online, I'd be like, is this stupid? Are people going to think I'm corny? Is it too like whatever? All the thoughts, you know what I mean? The pandemic taught me like, look, God put stuff inside of you. And like you can't worry about what people think about it. You know what I mean? If you feel like you're passionate about it, go ahead and do it. So those two lessons I would say are like the biggest two.
You know how this feels. Well, I'm gonna ask you because we both come from musical families.
Yeah.
Where did you get your start at in music?
Yeah. Man, I mean, it was my family. I mean, it was my family. I can't, right. It was church family. I was born, so I'm the oldest of 3 boys. And my dad, I mean, Pops. My dad, he is number 3 of 7 kids. And his 6 brothers and sisters, everybody plays something or sings or whatever. And all of them had kids, and all my cousins play. Like I got cousins that are like the most killing organ players in Baltimore. I got cousins that are on tour with everybody. You know what I mean? So like it was just all around. And at first, honestly, like as a kid, like I knew I loved music, but I was also like, but everybody in my family does it, and everybody plays music. So like. Maybe this is not what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? Right. Maybe it's like, am I good enough? I had all of those thoughts all through elementary, middle school, high school. Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing something else? Everybody plays. But in terms of where I got my start, that was it. It was, 9946 Linden Hill Road with that little piano, and and the drums and my mom's pots and pans and just banging on stuff and figuring it out. I mean, you know the drill.
I know. Listen, man, we're in our culture has become, well, social media, I'll say, has become a good tool and a bad tool at the same time. It's a double-edged sword. It's a great way to communicate. One of the problems I have with social media is that it's like a trophy room case. You get to see everybody's highlights. You get to see everybody's, oh, I'm here, I'm there, I'm all over the place. But you don't see the process that goes behind, or the hard work that goes behind them getting to where they got to. One thing that the pandemic taught me was patience, timing. It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen, but until it happens, there's work to be done. What advice do you have to creatives when it comes to being patient? It sounds simple, but it's like, oh.
Well, before I answer, first I'm curious. You said that, so you were talking about like, putting yourself out there and like just getting stuff done. I'm curious how, you said it was difficult for you.
It was.
How did you deal with it?
So what I did was, Kobe Bryant is one of my favorite players. And Kobe, like the mindset of, yeah, right.
Mamba.
For me, it took keep going. Just try it again. Try like the repetition. Because like you keep putting reps in, you're gonna get stronger eventually. Like, and then it's once you keep, all right, say, what's something I did? I started my podcast and I was like, all right, let me try it. Before I even released anything, I was trying this thing like, I got files like cut, I'm not doing this, cut, till I was like, all right, let's get comfortable with it. So for me, it was the repetition, the reps in that made me break, like, all right, let's go ahead and do it.
Let's do it. Bravery. Yeah, I hear you, man. All right, so your question was about patience?
Yes. What advice do you have just on being patient? It's a life lesson, for real.
Yeah. Well, if somebody asked it to me, I would say, one, I think patience is necessary.
Right.
I feel like it's hard. I would say that it's hard in the moment sometimes when you really want something. Like,
yeah.
It can be hard to be patient when you really want something real bad.
Mm-hmm.
What's not as hard and what makes it easier, in my opinion, is when you think about what the reward's going to be, like what you're being patient for,
Mm-hmm.
And like if you think about it long enough, there's nothing that we gain in life that everybody loves without having been patient. You used repetition, and the first thing I thought of was doing push-ups. Like you don't do 100 push-ups and then you're swole after 100. You know what I mean? You got to do 100 every other day for like 3 months. Then you see results from it. And I feel like that's the advice I would give is just know that in your being patient, there's going to be like something killing at the end of that. There's going to be something awesome at the end of that. And thinking about that is like, I think that's what gives me fuel. It's like I'm not just doing push-ups to be doing them. I know that, a month from now, there's going to be a super Otto, or a super Steven. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what that does. So I don't know. That's my advice is in terms of patience. One, it's necessary. If you want to do something worthwhile, you do have to be patient. Yeah. Two, you can have fun being patient though. That's the other thing. I feel like a misconception is that being patient means, oh, I gotta suffer forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's not like that. You can have fun being patient. That's about being creative, in my opinion. I'm a creative individual. Yeah. And my whole thing is, all right, if I have to wait 3 hours to get my mom's steak because she's cooking it and it takes 3 hours to cook, then like find a way to spend those 3 hours to where like it's enjoyable. They always say like time flies when you're having fun. All right, well that means I just got to think outside the box. What can I do for 3 hours that I'ma love that it's gonna go by like that? And that's the thing about being patient. Just find other stuff that you can do while you're being patient and consistently putting the work in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Man, it ain't gotta be. You don't have to be in jail to be patient. You know what I'm saying? It ain't. That's not. You can be patient and have fun too. Yes. So.
Who or what inspires Otto Gross today?
Man. Everything. My wife, my children, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, some of my favorite artists. I think my number one, like, I would say right now, my number one favorite artist, and he has been for a long time, is a cat named Bobby McFerrin.
Oh man, you don't gotta say a cat name. We know that. We know that.
So Bobby's Bobby's like my, he's like my, I'm not gonna call him idol, but like that's my dude.
Yeah.
You know, I was blessed to be able to play with him while I was in college at Berkeley, and I don't know, his just the way that he approaches music and the way that he approaches people is something that I really aspire to. So, Jesus, my family, Bobby McFerrin, Wynton Marsalis is another big one, jazz artist. Let's see, I don't know, all the goats from today, like social media influencers, Steve Jones.
Yes, sir.
Like seriously, I feel like you can. My students, I think that it's easy to draw inspiration from anywhere if you look for it and you're open to it and you're not stuck up about it. You know what I mean?
So. I'm gonna get to Bob McFerrin in a second. You are an educator. When you were in school, did you see yourself being a teacher or in the teaching position while you were in school?
No, I don't think so.
How is it now being? Because I'm walking into my teaching career and I'm thinking like, yo, I spent all these years being the class clown, and now it's like you're the teacher now. I'm trying to put it together like, what's about to happen? How does it feel being the teacher now?
Man, I'll preface by saying that in terms of what I do and have done, it's not the archetypal in a classroom with the same 30 students for a semester, you know. Mm-hmm. I've been at a job where I'm traveling the world doing that with different people's classes. Yeah. So I don't mean this to sound pompous or anything, but in my experience, it's more like I'm being a celebrity at different places than I am just being in the classroom. Right. The reason I say that is because from my perspective, the one thing that I think I constantly see that really gets me inspired and excited is the fact that we don't give them enough credit. You know, I work a lot with little kids. Like I work a lot with whole elementary, middle school kids. I work with high school and college grads also, but a lot of the Quaver thing was with elementary and middle school. And I just think that, you know, it's a special thing to be in a position where you can pour into somebody and see the fruit of that. You know, and even for yourself, like as you're going into this position, it's something different and special, man, when you can see a student regurgitate what you taught them, but not just by like rote. It's like y'all put into practice something that I gave you. And it's a whole different thing. I mean, back then when we were like clowning and all that stuff, we didn't have those goggles on, you know? And I think that, I don't know, it's real special to be in the position of an instructor or a teacher. You're changing the world in a way that a lot of people can't. Like you're talking about future generations, people that'll be influenced, you know, and all of that. And I think that's special. So congratulations.
Man, I appreciate that, man. You were blessed to not only go to, but graduate from Berkeley. Mm-hmm. How was it walking into brand new environment? Nobody knows my name. Nobody knows my family. I can't use that as a. How was your experiences at Berkeley?
Man, I loved every piece of that. Every time I tell that story, I wouldn't have changed it for the world. In terms of walking into a new environment, so in Baltimore, I went to a Catholic high school. It was Calvert Hall High School, right? And Steve, I knew I knew for a long time that I did not want to stay in Maryland. That's what I did know. And so like my mom and I had an agreement. She was like, all right, well, if you get straight A's and you get a scholarship, you can go wherever you want. Otherwise, you are staying here, whatever. And so I did. So I did. And I knew I wanted to go to Berkeley. My uncle went there, blah, blah, blah. And it's an incredible school, incredible institution. So, in terms of walking in, I loved it. I remember the first day. I will not forget this. But my first day, my parents, they drove up from Baltimore. It was like 9 hours or however long it is. We drove up. They bought me my stuff. I'm in the dorm. So I packed my stuff up. I put it in the dorms, right? Say bye to mom, give her a kiss, bye to dad. They leave. And I'm finally like on my own for the first time. I'm on my own. It's college. I'm excited, right? I walked downstairs. My dorm was 270 Commonwealth in Boston, Massachusetts. I walked downstairs, and downstairs in the dorms, they have like all these practice rooms, like tons of practice rooms downstairs in the basement, right? I'm walking through the halls, and I'm seeing saxophone players. There's one of my friends, Alex Hahn, who tours with Marcus Miller right now. He's playing in one room. There's a bass player friend I know. He's a drummer, actually, Alex Bailey. He's playing in another room. And just every room I'm in, it's these cats that are like, it's killing. The most killing cats in all of their cities are downstairs in this. And I'm just looking at everybody play like, I cannot believe this is my experience. Like, this is my first day here. And I'm just seeing all of these incredible players, people that can play circles around me. And I'm looking at that. And for me, that was like heaven, man. It was just like, I can't believe this is what it is for me. So in terms of what it was like, I loved it. It was a great experience. I was glad not to know everybody because it meant like a fresh start. You know what I mean? Yeah. The high school thing, like everybody did know my family in Baltimore. So if I played something wrong, then you know what I mean? That was almost like I embarrassed my cousins. I embarrassed my family. You know what I mean? And so, like, I was glad to get out. I was glad to be in a new space because it meant a fresh start. So,
when it comes to new spaces, what I'm realizing is that a lot of people, especially when it comes to creatives, they can get timid, shy, insecure because you have a gift. You know you're talented. You were you were the man or the person where you were at. Now you're in a new environment where it's like, oh, you can do that too. Like, oh, that's supposed to be my trick, and you can do that. It took me, and I've seen people like step back from, like get shaken, and I'm like, you can't lose your confidence here. I believe iron sharpens iron. You got to look at it like, okay, you're good at that. All right, cool. That's something I need to learn from you because you have that ability. What advice do you have for people who are stepping into new environments in general?
Man, I would say exactly what you said. I think that's incredible. You can't be. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance, and you can't be scared because somebody's good at what they do. That's not, in my mind. I don't know, and I have brothers, so I guess maybe it makes a little more sense. But like, I'm a competitive dude, but not when it comes to like that kind of stuff. I'm competitive if we playing cards or we playing basketball. You know what I mean? But when it comes to our crafts and stuff, man, I want everybody to be tight. One, that's gonna make me better. I think about people. You talked about Kobe, that's my dude also. Yeah. But people like Kobe, MJ, like Michael Jordan wanted to. He wasn't interested in. He was interested in being great, Right. And part of being great means that you have great people around you. You can't get better at what you do if you don't have great people around you. So yeah, I would say definitely don't be afraid of it. Welcome it. If anything, like if you're a big fish in a small pond, leave the pond. Go somewhere bigger. Go somewhere where like you are a small fish. Right. And I think it's important. It's important to do that. I know for me, I would have never, and I'm not killing now, but I know I would not have grown to where I am had I not done that, had I just stayed where I was, because I was comfortable then. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm excited about being pushed, in a church where like, I don't know, let's 5,000 members and I'm on the organ and you just gotta like follow somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that helps you. And it's been a lot of gigs where I died. Like I went down in flames. You know what I mean? And it might have felt weird then, and it might have been embarrassing then. But you're right. Iron sharpens iron, and that's important. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, I don't know. If you're tighter than me, then let's be friends, because I'm trying to learn.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why would I be scared of that or upset at that? Like, no, man. God made us all special, and I think about there's the again, like I'm a PK, so like a lot of scriptures come to mind. But one of the things was a scripture about basically the different parts of the body. Like if the head were a hand, then how you gonna see? You know what I mean?
Right.
Or if the foot was hands, how you gonna walk? Like you need every single part of your body to be able to function. You know what I'm saying? And so like that's what we all have. Like Steven is a head, I'm a finger, this is a foot, and all of us together, like we can make something special. And sorry, I don't mean to talk too long, but what my favorite part about that is when we do work together, it's nothing like collaboration. Like if me and Steve do a song together, the song is gonna blaze. You know what I mean? Why would I be trying to fight that? To me, that's just dumb. So I'm like, nah, let's work together and get something tight. Like you said, like you're good at this thing, I'm good at this thing. Let's put it together and look at what we created. So I love that.
Man, that's beautiful, man. All right. I gotta get to Bobby McFerrin because my time's running out. When did you go beyond the surface level of Bobby McFerrin? Because a lot of times we get "Don't Worry, Be Happy," and it's like some people they stop. Then there's other people be like, "Let me go ahead and see what this guy is about." When did you get introduced? When did Bobby McFerrin? When did you figure out about him? That's the word I'm trying to figure out. Gotcha.
When I first, I don't remember when it started. I feel like it was probably sometime in high school. I don't remember when though. And of course, I have seen "Don't Worry, Be Happy." It's funny, like if you interview him and talk about that song, that's like not the song. He's like
he's not even perform it no more.
No, he doesn't. That was as a joke for him. But yeah, I think my first the first thing I can really remember. I don't know how early it started, but I was attracted to the whole him being in a place with he calls it circle songs and having a bunch of singers around him and him just directing those singers and coming up with all sorts of timbres and tones. And that happened sometime in high school. And just after that, YouTube, I would just watch him. And I mean, there's probably not too many clips that you can post that I have not seen already, but I will watch his concerts, him doing classical music, like sing. And I remember I will watch all of his interviews. Like there's interviews where he talks about how he practiced just singing tenths, you know? And I will watch that. I remember while I was at Berkeley, like we had a library of stuff, and I would go rent out his special he did called Spontaneous Inventions. Yeah. And so I would rent that out from the Berkeley Library, and I would stay up till like 3 or 4 in the morning, just practicing all of it. Going to get in my car. I would practice all of it. You know? And so I don't know. When you say when it started, I'm not sure, but I know I would just watch him for years and years, just dissecting everything he had. I watched him on Sesame Street. The Don't Worry, Be Happy, him with jazz musicians, him with classical musicians, him by himself. Yeah. And then I got to play with him. And that's on YouTube. So I don't know. That's my thing.
If you could collab, I'm gonna give you 3, you and 2 other people. Your dream collaboration. Who are the 2 people that you're gonna collab with?
It would be Bobby. So I get 2 people, Bobby and somebody else.
Bobby and somebody else.
Bobby McFerrin and dream collaboration, huh? Bobby McFerrin. Man, that's a good question. So many people. Um, well, I guess it depends on what instrument I'm playing. If
Okay.
I'm playing, if well, I'm serious. If I'm playing like drums or percussion or something, then I would probably say somebody like, if he was still alive, this person has to be alive now.
No, anybody.
Probably Bobby and Chick Corea, I
Oh my
think.
God. Woo!
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. If I thought about it longer, I might choose somebody else. But
Oh man, and Chick Corea. Oh well, you've seen it. They did of course they did a bunch of concerts. It's this one concert with Chick Corea Electric Band. I can't think of what year it is. And Bobby, oh man, I don't even gotta say no more. A rap,
crazy.
man.
The whole incredible.
Oh my gosh. Man, as we're closing this thing out, wrapping this thing up, we're gonna get to some fun stuff. I'm a movie person. I love movies.
Okay.
Soundtracks. Don't even just. What are some of your favorite soundtracks?
Ooh. That's a good question. I love John. Why can't I think of his name? Why can't I think of his name? Oh my guy. He did the soundtrack for Home Alone, Star Wars.
Oh man.
John Williams.
Yeah.
I'm a John Williams guy. I love those. I'll just start naming stuff. And this might sound corny. I love Finding Nemo. That's actually one of my favorite.
Yeah, that's not corny. That's
all the Disney stuff is like,
and they have their own personalities. It's like,
bro, it's crazy. Yeah. I like the Marvel series. All the all the stuff. The Marvel series stuff. Oh man. All of Disney. I'm gonna say all of Disney, all of Marvel. Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, that's Disney, but like
yeah,
crazy. Tron. So anyway, yeah, that's something.
Without spoiling anything, what is up next for Otto Gross?
Without spoiling, well, without spoiling, there looks like there might be a potential opportunity for a television thing. And, I'm really excited about it. So we'll see what happens. I can't say any more than that.
Yeah.
But if that happens, you know what I mean? That's the deal. So yeah, but it's that. Of course I'm gonna keep doing ditties. There's a partnership that it looks like I'm walking into with a company to do ditties in like a more formal way.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff like on the horizon. Just releasing music, I'm writing a book. Without spoiling it, I'm gonna be an author. So yeah, man, it's stuff. It's. I'm excited. God's good. He's good.
He is, man. Listen, as we're closing out, what advice do you have to creatives?
Don't stop. I'm gonna look straight into the camera. Whoever is looking at this, if you are a creative, please don't stop. I know that many times, like, we can get in our head about, am I good enough? Is this good enough? Are people going to like what I do? Not that doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter. You should keep putting your stuff out. Please don't be afraid. One of the things that I feel like I suffered from is just being a perfectionist, which is it's not bad to have good things. It's not bad to have great production and all of that. But don't let it like paralyze you. Don't let it make you debilitated to where you can't post something. So that's one thing I would say is just don't stop, keep going. Two, like use all of these resources that we have available. We got social media, and social media is actually pretty huge. So use it every way you can, learn what you can. And then three, as Steve and I were both talking about, like be collaborative with people. I think the best thing that you can do as a creative is to collaborate with someone else. Don't always be in a bubble. You can create your own stuff, and you should, but don't like just be in a bubble to where you can't work with someone else. I think that's special. So, and enjoy it, man. Know that I love you, you know, and there's a group of people that want to hear what you have to say. There's a group of people that want to know who you are. There's a group of people that want to hear your stuff or see your stuff, you know, whether you're a painter or an artist or a musician, producer, whatever, actor, whatever it is. Like people want to, they want to see you, and whatever it is that you create, that's going to impact a lot of people. So just keep going.
Bro, I thank you again for your time tonight, man.
Of course.
Listen, the dream starts with you. Get out there and get it. Write the vision, make it plain, recite your vision, go out and go for it. Work on it. Build it, and it's going to come. I guarantee you that. Y'all be safe out there.
With you.
Yo, peace out. We out of here.
One. Oh, Lord. Quiet on set. 3, 2.